Report a shot fired at officers fenced up the vehicle.
We have one officer shot.
We got shots fired. Sounded like an automatic firearm.
Copy, code red, shots fired.
We have an active shooter. We have an active shooter inside the warehouse.
Now it's Shots Fired with your hosts TJ Kirgin, Dinah Death Milberg, and the lovely Krystal Powers.
And this is Shots Fired World War III edition.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. So I just got back from Florida, and it's I've been down there and
Again?
huh?
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yes, the weather was so much nicer down there. But then I came back here yesterday and it was 80 degrees. So I brought this weather with me. You're listening to Shots Fired. This is TJ Kirgin, a.k.a. Sig Glock and Colt, sitting next to the lovely Krystal Powers and across from the absolutely opposite of lovely Alex.
True story.
Dinah
True story.
Death Milberg. Our show is about guns, freedom, gear, and all of that good stuff. And, we'll probably spend most of it. Typically, we talk about, gun-related politics, Second Amendment advocacy, what's going on in the world of infringing on your constitutional rights. And this show is probably not going to talk about that much because we're going to talk about the war in the Ukraine, but it's going to be different from all the other media that you're that you're listening to and that you're consuming out there. Because we are not on George Soros' payroll.
No. Well, last time I checked, not happening.
Krystal, did you see? So I, much like everyone else in this country, and when I say everyone else, I'm talking about conservatives, gun owners, liberals. Everybody seems to have instantly jumped on the pray for Ukraine. Mm-hmm. I support the Ukraine. I support whatever is supposed to be supported today. And it is easy to understand the why behind it, right? So we were all of us old folks, we were all trained to think of Russia as the enemy.
Right.
From birth, because we were born just after or during the Cold War. Mm-hmm. And, so we're already predestined to think of them as the boogeyman, the bad guy. Putin's always bad, whatever.
Red Dawn. Yep.
Yeah, Red Dawn, one of my favorite movies. Wolverines, Matter of fact, last week's show, we started the show with the same way that Red Dawn started, because it was a radio announcer that started it. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache, We actually started the show with that. I don't know if anybody got the reference or not.
That's fun.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I would hope so. But anyway, so the media immediately starts showing us all this video of the horrible atrocities the Russians are doing and all of the TikTok videos that are coming out from the Ukrainians kicking that Russian butt, and really showing how the Ukrainians are putting up one heck of a fight. The Russians are committing these war crimes and all this stuff. And then the stories start to come out about the Ghost of Kiev. Or is it Kiev?
I don't know.
Kiev? They say Kiev on the media. So
I honestly,
I always thought it was
no
Kiev.
one's been able to give this.
Is there another
answer.
place in the world called Kiev? Or did they just change, people were calling it Kiev and now it's Kiev?
I have no idea.
You don't know? Okay, so the Ghost of Kiev. Immediately when I heard that story, I knew it was propaganda. Complete bull
Wait, why?
stuff.
Why?
Well, okay. First of all, the Russians had decimated their air defense before they ever came in, right? I guarantee you at the time that the story broke about the Ghost of Kiev, there wasn't any more Ukrainian fighter jets in the air.
See, I was under the impression, based on whatever rag I read it from, that it was a civilian.
Oh, that's an even better story. That just stole a. He fixed a downed MiG in his farm, in his barn, and
Basically.
then took it up. Yeah,
You've not done that?
I saw a post this morning that he was shot down yesterday, but he ejected from the jet as it's going down, and then parachuted into the open canopy of another jet, took that jet, and went on to shoot down 6 more Russian MiGs.
With a 1911.
Yeah, and the pilots from the Russian MiGs parachuted out of their planes, but it was cool because he landed his plane on a road and then got out and killed them with his bare hands.
After he rescued a baby from a burning building.
Yes, and that's all on video. It's a TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I just knew it was complete and utter propaganda.
You had me in the first half.
Yeah. So and obviously we're being facetious because it is the story is ridiculous, but it's what you need. It's like Rule 101 in war, right? When civilians, they need a hero.
Well, and everybody roots for the
there a
underdog.
song?
I'm sorry. I thought rule number
I need
one
a
in war
hero.
was don't get shot.
Oh, that's it too. Yeah, this rule number 2.
At least that was my rule number 1. Don't get shot.
Rule number 1: don't get shot. Rule number 2: you need a hero, right? You need patriotism, right? And so that was one of the ways they started.
You're saying that the Ghost of Kiev is their Captain America.
Basically, absolutely.
Okay, but you've got a really good point there. Hope wins wars.
Oh, no, it does.
Yeah. And I do not doubt for a minute that Marvel Comics is involved in the marketing of the Ukrainian propaganda.
They'll
Right?
have him as one of the new Avengers in 15 years.
So, and I'm in no way anti-Ukrainian people. I think they are victims in this for sure. I am not a fan of the Ukrainian government, and I'll discuss why probably after the next break. But the propaganda is obvious. The 13, right? The 13 soldiers on what was the island?
Snake Island.
Yeah.
Was it?
Snake Island.
Snake Island. What a cool name for an island.
I know.
So you got 13 dudes out there defending the island, and a Russian warship pulls up, and they're like, "Hey, throw down your guns, or we're gonna blow you off the face of the earth."
Wait, when you put it like that, were they like holding guns and they're looking with binoculars and they're
Yes.
like, put your guns down?
Yes, it was something very similar to
'Cause
that.
they're
They were
gonna
literally
shoot the
they were not in,
battleship.
they were not in any kind of armed bunker, because you actually see video of the dudes kind of looking at the ship, like phone video, because right before you get blown off the face of the earth, we better TikTok this. Okay, but anyway, so the Russian warship says obviously in Russian. And somebody says what it says, so we only believe them. That they're like, lay down your arms, or we will bomb you. Okay, and so these 13 guys, and I forget the guy's name. He says, "F you, Russian warship," and then the Russian warship promptly destroyed them. But we then found out it was all BS.
After the Ukrainian government came out and said these brave heroes.
Yeah, the president of the
Everything
Ukraine
goes up to their
said that these
families.
13 died bravely, blah, blah, blah. And in the last 48 hours, this is recorded on Thursday, it was proven that none of them died, and that didn't happen.
Oh, I didn't hear that part.
They were all captured and are on a Russian warship.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so sad.
But it made for such beautiful theater. And that is what everyone out there is falling for.
Yeah.
And so we've got 3 minutes, and I want to try to tie it all together nice and neat before the break. Okay? So I wasn't believing the theater, but I was thinking the Russians were the bad guy, and the Ukrainians are the victim.
Of course.
And I was pro-Ukraine, as a normal, God-fearing, good human being should be based on the story we're being given. But then I thought about it. Who's giving us the story, Alex?
The media.
The media. And
And TikTok, apparently, who's also ran by the Chinese. Just going to throw that out there.
Yeah.
It's a valid point.
And then I thought about it. The media, the same media, has been lying to us about everything for the last several years. Well, actually, I watched a documentary called The American West about the 1800s, and I realized that they've been lying to us the whole time. But anyway, the media has been lying to us about, COVID, the pandemic, the riots, the election, January 6th. It's obvious that we live in a dystopian world and everything is not what it seems. And then suddenly, Russia invades the Ukraine, and we are going to believe everything the media says like it's gospel. Okay?
Well, and then there's also what's going on when the media is pushing one narrative. What are we trying to
wag
Why
the
are they
dog?
pushing
Yes.
one?
They're creating a diversion. What's going on behind the curtain, right? So, but that wasn't enough to sell me. What sold me was when one of my buddies that is a journalist sent me a bunch of screenshots that have been verified from George Soros' Twitter account.
Yep.
And George Soros' Twitter account basically is in absolute support of the Ukraine. He's in step with the media narrative. And I immediately changed my position, because I know better than to be in agreement with that diabolical human being on anything. I'm not on the same side of history with him in any way. So if George Soros wants the Ukrainians to defeat the Russians or to hold them off, then I absolutely want the opposite.
Well, and that was the same thing for me, but except I ate up what the media was throwing at us, and it wasn't until I saw that George Soros tweet that I was like, oh.
Yeah. Let me just read one of them.
Dang it.
This is from George Soros. Putin's actions are a direct attack on the sovereignty of all states that were once the Soviet Union and beyond. Russia is a clear violation of the United Nations Charter and should be held accountable. It was at that moment that I realized that this Ukrainian situation and the way it's being fed to us is nothing more than Act 2 or 3 of Soros's diabolical plan for the Great Reset to usher in the global New World Order.
Which Ukraine is pretty vocal about being in support of and pretty pro for.
Yeah, so hopefully that opens your eyes a little bit. We're going to have to break, and we'll be back after this. All right, and we're back. Why do you always look at me like that when I...
That was a good clap.
When I bring us in. Oh, it was a good clap?
She's judging your claps. That's
She
what
does.
She
She's very
judges your
judgmental.
claps,
It's
yeah.
all over
No,
her face.
I feel like it's my speakers. They're
She's trying to gauge how much seed oil you've had by your claps. It's a
I
real
have been
clap,
trying to
too
have
much seed oil.
I think the most seed oil intake I had over the weekend was, well, I have to ask you now. I had Five Guys fries while I was traveling because I probably didn't eat really well and I didn't eat much, right? I'm working and I'm moving and, I get out of my routine. But I had Five Guys. So is peanut oil,
yeah, that's one of those.
it's considered a seed oil? Because a peanut
Well,
is
it's just
essentially
like all vegetable
seed,
oils.
isn't it?
Sunflower, safflower, canola. I mean,
Can I have a cannoli?
Depends what oil they're made.
Right?
Is olive oil okay?
Yes, but the best one to cook with is avocado oil because it has a higher cooking point.
I've honestly never even heard
When
of
you
this.
say higher cooking point, what do you mean?
That means it's after like a certain temperature, it starts to become. It's supposed to have like a negative, not as good for you reaction, basically.
Oh, gotcha.
I think avocado's cooking point is like 500 degrees. Then next is olive oil.
Yeah.
And then coconut oil.
I didn't even know avocado oil was a thing.
Yeah, that's a
So
good
since
one.
they
First
stopped
ever.
importing avocados due to the cartel threatening the avocado inspectors in Mexico a couple
Wait,
weeks ago, does
what?
that mean that avocado oil is now like a scarcity thing and it's probably expensive?
It was already expensive, which is really weird because not really enough people eat it.
Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No.
Yeah, so one of the USDA, I guess, I don't know if it's USDA or whatever, but whatever inspectors that the U.S. sends over to Mexico to make sure the food they're sending us doesn't suck,
Yeah.
got threats on his voicemail or on his phone, death threats from the cartel for some reason or another. And so the America punished them by ceasing production, or not production, importation. But I don't know if that's gone back into effect yet or not.
That poor guy who just wanted to like make his world a better place and be a food inspector. It's like,
Yeah.
honey, you'll never believe what happened to me at work today.
What's the safest job ever?
Avocado.
Food
Honestly,
Inspector.
you know where I heard this at was the media, and so it could just be avocado propaganda.
George Soros is trying to get people to stop.
George
eating
Soros
avocados.
probably funds the cartels. And, oh my God, avocados have something to do with ushering in the New World Order. I ate some last night on my chicken. My God, I'm freaking out here. What?
You've reached before.
I went a little too
This
far
is
there?
a whole new level. You stretch harder than FDE's clothing.
Ooh, FDE's clothing. For those of you listening at home, FDE is he's our social media administrator at TacticalSht.Official in St. Peters, and he used to be fat, so we called him Fat Dark Earth, which is a takeoff of the color FDE, which is also known as tan, or UPS brown.
Okay.
But anyway, he's not really fat anymore, so we don't call him FDE anymore. It's just Notorious FDE. He's not fat. He's just FDE. Yeah.
Guys are so mean.
Well, what?
Fat shaming works, all right?
Yeah, you do it to us all the time.
Not-
with your
oh, yeah,
judgmental
right.
seed oil
How
looks that
dare
you glance
you.
at me with.
No, I think fat shaming works for guys. It doesn't work for women. It has the opposite effect.
Yeah, no.
You've got a story about that, I can tell.
No, I'm just not stupid.
All right. We probably ought to talk about the Ukraine a little bit more.
The Ukraine,
The Ukraine.
not
Right.
Ukraine.
So here's the thing. So everybody thinks that the Ukrainian president is this awesome guy and he's a hero. And he could probably get elected president in the United States next month.
I mean, it's apparently not hard to meet those qualifications anymore.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Is he the president of the Ukraine or Iran?
Yeah, who knows?
So anyway, the president of Ukraine, who, by the way, is an actor, which isn't shocking. Reagan was an actor. There's lots of actors that get into politics. But he was an actor.
And a comedian and a dancer.
And a comedian. I didn't know about the dancer part.
There's a video.
Yeah, I just saw that. I wish I hadn't.
So he's an actor, comedian that starred in a show that he produced himself, I believe. And the story was that he was a regular type guy that became the president of the Ukraine. And then it happened. It happened. Isn't that amazing?
It's
something.
This
How
whole thing is
fortuitous for you to play a guy that becomes president and then you become president. I mean, it's got to be a sign.
I'm a dude disguised as another dude.
Again, it's all just propaganda. He was put in place by who? I believe Obama. The Obama administration somehow supported a coup that then put him in power.
Oh, yeah. Was this 2014?
Yeah, 2014.
I forgot about that.
So Obama puts this guy in power. Sleepy Joe has his son go work for him as an oil executive, making hundreds of millions of dollars a year with no oil expertise.
That's coincidental.
He's just a crack addict.
Crack, like it can be oil, right? Like when you
Yeah, I guess if you heat it up.
boil it down. So
What's worse? What's worse, Crystal? Seed oil.
I knew this was coming.
Seed oil or liquid cocaine?
Seed oil.
Okay.
So
if
crack's okay.
So if I'm doing
That's not what I'm saying.
So if I'm doing speedballs or injecting seed oil into my veins,
I'm so
You're
straight
thinking
edge.
that
I don't even know what a speedball is.
I believe John Belushi died of it. It's cocaine and heroin mixture. Yeah, nobody does it anymore because they don't do real drugs anymore. We do things like fentanyl, and they just people. I remember when you used to OD from drugs in this country. It used to be a shock, like holy cow, that guy OD'd.
Yeah.
Now it's like people OD so often. It's like
On the highway.
must have done fentanyl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Horrible drug. Anyway, so we're drawing a picture here. So this bull crap story, this whole script, right, of he's in the movie and then he becomes president after a coup supported by Obama. Then Joe Biden is involved, and obviously the accusation by the right is that Joe Biden and other politicians launder their money in the Ukraine. Then it came out, and I believe it's been verified by documents from the Department of Defense.
Yeah, but nobody reads those.
Yeah, right.
I did.
Been
I
verified,
did too.
But what I'm talking about, what has been verified recently is that the Department of Defense, the American military, had 12 biolabs in the Ukraine, and they just all 12 happened to be at the same exact points on the map as missile strikes from the Soviet Union, or I'm sorry, from Russia. I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, it's a little convenient, and like I was suspect of that when I first heard it, and then DOD straight up came out with a press release about it that, yeah, no, it's true, but they're like counter labs where we research it to prevent further diseases and biological
Yeah, I heard
issues.
that. Like, that's going to make it more believable.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, but for some reason, Russia wanted to destroy them. And even though they were U.S. military installations, we're not talking about it publicly because, pretty sure if you destroy a military installation of another military, isn't that an act of war?
Typically.
I don't know. It's a clown world right now.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah.
I never thought that I'd be so speculative of every
Yeah.
single thing that I read.
So I got 30 seconds. Why did Daddy Trump, why was he unable to run in the next election, or why was he, because he was impeached? Why did he get impeached? Oh, because of a phone call with the Ukrainian president. Do you start to see, are we connecting the dots and the lines here and realizing that, wow.
I forgot about that too.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. But anyway, we'll be back after this. I know I just ruined your day. We'll try to be a little brighter and lighter when we come back.
No, we won't.
I'm kind of hesitant to even call this a war. It's kind of weak, honestly, for a war. Like, I was expecting. This is horrible to say, I know, but like the mass carnage and just absolute pure destruction and laying waste. I mean, it's somewhat there, but you've got like an entire crowd of people coming out blocking a highway to stop tanks, and the tanks just stop.
Yeah, it looks like what's that? Ho Chi Minh
Tiananmen Square.
Tiananmen Square, Chinaman Square. Except there's a few more than one. But then, of course, the propaganda videos show explosions going off near these civilians that are blocking the roadway, and machine gun fire can be heard.
Yeah.
But you were telling me those weren't actual mortars. They were what?
No, there a lot of vehicles have them. The Humvees used to have them. Either some can launch smoke, or you can use flashbangs for crowd dispersal. And the machine guns were firing overhead because the way they were set up on the road and the way that people were, this is called grazing fire. It's literally a machine gunner's like dream to have happen.
Moist dream?
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying to figure out how to word that.
So I'm pretty sure you can say wet dream on the air.
Okay. You basically have a crowd of people and perfect cone of fire that you just literally free gun it, traverse back and forth, and you can level 100 people in a matter of seconds. Like, it's absolutely beautiful. And they're not doing it. Like, obviously, if they opened up with machine guns from that range in the positions they were at, they would have eliminated everybody.
Oh, it would have been a pink mist fest.
Before they even had time to run. Because when you fire a machine gun, because the recoil, it causes a beaten zone where it's a literal cone of fire from the spread of approximately 1.3 meters. I don't know what it is for Russian weapons, but you're able to hit multiple people with one burst. That's the beauty of machine guns. So
that is so beautiful.
I'm getting too excited about killing. I'm going to shut up now before I creep people out.
I'm getting a pillow for my man cave that says "Live, laugh, and lay down suppressive fire."
Yeah, I'm getting that in the blanket.
What? That's so fun.
It is awesome, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, I love machine gun terminology.
I'm going to stop now.
Are you getting moist?
No, I'm creeping out our listeners.
Yeah, no doubt.
This guy got a little too excited.
If you want to join our text message alert club, text the word tactical to 59769. That's tactical, like the name of our company, which is Tactical SH_T. Can I get a vowel?
Shiznit.
Yeah, tactical is the word, and you're sending that as a text message to the number 59769. Last time we did this, we actually had 29 of you sign up, so we know that it's more than just our moms and dads out there listening. That's pretty exciting.
I wasn't even one of those 29.
Yeah, I'm surprised you don't have any stalkers yet. If you're a stalker and you're looking for something to do, Krystal Powers, she's really looking to use some of that self-defense tactics that she
I already have one very legit.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. I'm sure you can handle yourself, though. You know what? Don't stalk Krystal. Stalk me. I invite you to. It'd be awesome.
It'd be fun.
It'll be good times.
Well, you know what's very interesting, if I can make this segue, the interesting thing about stalking is the fear that you incur in the person that you're stalking is the most powerful weapon that you have. Kind of like all of this media frenzy about something that we really shouldn't be involved in. That's my personal opinion.
Right. Yeah. And the fear is real right now. So, I live in St. Paul, and this morning, I'm brushing my teeth, and suddenly the tornado sirens go off. And I'm thinking, I just got back from Florida yesterday, okay? And I'm thinking, it's Monday. It's the first Monday of the month. I'm brushing my teeth. And my wife comes in the room in the bathroom. She goes, why are the tornado sirens going off on a Thursday? And do you think this is an airstrike? And I'm like, oh boy, that is kind of weird. So I literally called the St. Charles County Emergency Management, and they answered immediately. And the woman was absolutely beside herself, mortified. She's like, I don't know. There's a problem. It must be a malfunction. We're getting tons of calls.
That's a heck of a malfunction.
It's
They
not
were
Russia.
hacked by Russians.
But somebody at the St. Charles County Emergency Management Center lost their job this morning.
It's because you had someone.
That's what I was going to guess. Are you serious?
No, I'm saying, I mean, they should.
Oh, I
come
thought
on.
you meant they got fired and then they're like, F you.
I don't know if you guys have been paying attention.
I'm just picturing somebody like me up there. Like, you guys know it'd be really funny with the current situation. Watch this.
Our listeners, maybe they don't know. Putin threatened to nuke us off the map a couple days ago.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
You didn't?
No.
Oh yeah, no. Putin said that he told his generals to put their nuclear deterrent team's unit on special combat readiness, the highest level of special combat readiness, which is another way of saying put them on standby, put them on alert.
Did he actually say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, and not only that, he said in the same statement, in reference to the sanctions.
Oh, of course.
Right. So he basically said, now he didn't say he was going to nuke America. He said he was going to nuke somebody. And so, however, since then, we're back to, we actually were taken temporarily to DEFCON 2. Which was the first time we'd made DEFCON 2 since the Cold War.
No kidding.
There's not a lot of documentation out there about that, but then it was quickly turned back to DEFCON 3 by, I guess, the folks at the Pentagon or whoever's the DEFCON dial, because they said that the reason they brought it back to DEFCON 3 was because of the peace talks that they're engaging with. Meanwhile, while we're at DEFCON 3 because of the peace talks, Russia. And I don't know if you've heard this one, Alex. They moved 2 hypersonic bombers capable of doing 2 times the speed of sound and carrying nuclear payload to Venezuela. So we now have 2 Russian bombers and support aircraft with potential nuclear payloads that can go Mach 2 sitting in Venezuela right off of our southern border.
Because Maduro just came out in support of Putin. So that makes sense. Yeah. Also, he launched 3 days ago 2 nuclear subs.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
It's cool. I like the book Red October, so we'll see.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So what is this doing to Americans? We talked about the fear. Stalking is essentially bullying with a bit of sadism, right?
It's all one big mind F.
And so that's basically what the media is doing to us, what the governments of the world are doing to the people of the world. But what does that do inside the United States to the gun industry? So, we just came off of 18 months of Black Friday every day for everybody in the gun industry, right? It started with the riots. It went to the election, the January 6th stuff, and then COVID, the pandemic, one thing after another. We've had supply chain issues that have caused an ammunition shortage that is still raging right now. Guns were very hard to find for a while, but now have come back into stock pretty much everywhere because the fear from the riots waned. Because when Biden was elected, because the riots just stopped.
Strangely enough.
Yeah, because they achieved their goal, and so now that fear is gone, right? So gun sales actually sucked for the last 3 months.
Yeah.
Ammunition sales were very, very brisk, but not as good as they were at the maybe early last year.
Yeah.
They were starting to wane off. But now, this war in the Ukraine has completely changed that because people are seeing what happens to people that don't have arms.
I have never seen so many, you would think they were from conservative pages,
Right.
giving the most obvious, it was like an advertisement, really. Just like, here's why you need guns.
Yeah.
It's sad.
Yeah,
really.
the Ukrainian government, the propaganda machine was talking about they were giving away 10,000 fully automatic AKs here and 20,000 there, and if you're not Ukrainian, just come over and join us. We'll give you an AK.
Oh yeah, first it was you need to show a Ukrainian passport, and then they dropped that and they said if you want to fight for.
Yeah,
I mean,
and there are people in our fan base that are on the way over.
Have fun with that one, man. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go stand in front of the Russian meat grinder for the Ukrainian people. No
well,
way.
have you seen those videos of the Russian soldiers who were like, there's one where their tank is stopped, and there's a Ukrainian guy driving by, and he's like, "Hey, what's wrong with your tank?" And he's like, "It ran out of diesel or something like that." And he's like, "Where are you going?" And they're like, "We don't know."
Yeah.
And there's a couple videos like that. They don't know where they're going.
Oh well, okay, but are you really gonna tell the guy where you're going? Does the Russians have OPSEC? You just go, I don't know where I'm going. That just sounds like something somebody would say. We don't know. One of my friends
fair.
posted that whole thing about, again, here's more Ukrainian propaganda, that the Russians thought they were on a training exercise.
Okay, I've read that.
And
Yeah.
that they were handed, they had their phones taken away, were handed cigarettes and live ammunition and told to go that way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that they're just so shocked they didn't know they were going to war.
Oh, and they're knocking on Ukrainians' doors asking for food.
Right.
That was another one.
Yeah. They have guns. Take it. But anyway, I actually asked my friend, I'm like, do you really believe this stuff? I mean, the military was, the Russian military was amassing on the Ukrainian borders, all three of them, since April. And you just thought you were there on a training exercise?
Yeah.
Surrounding the country of, from Belarus to Russia to Crimea. I
Didn't
guess
start
Crimea,
recognizing the Ukrainian road signs.
yeah, I guess Crimea was just a training exercise too, when they took Crimea, and the Russians that were fighting in the eastern part of Ukraine, that were supporting, the special forces guys, they were just training over there too.
Well, another plot hole is this stuff has been going on, like you said, for years, honestly, and just now everybody's concerned about it.
Well, and that brings me to another point that I want to make in reference to Americans, the people listening to this show. I am getting tons and tons of phone calls from legitimate Ukrainian government officials, okay, trying to procure armor, helmets, IFAC medical kits, radios, gun parts, ammunition, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'm not licensed to export to foreign militaries, those things, but I do have friends that are, so I've been doing my best to try to make connections. However, as we make those connections and as we deliver back to them the truth, which is, yeah, we can get that to you. It's going to take 6 weeks minimum to manufacture that much of X, Y, and Z and get it sent over there. They're like, oh my God, it's going to take that long, and they're just beside themselves that it's going to take that long to get what they need. And the point I'm making is the Russians, the wolf was at the door since April.
Yeah, it's not like it was last week.
I'm pretty sure the Ukrainians tweeted, "Invade us if you're gay." That was an actual Ukrainian social media tweet.
Wow.
You invade us if you're gay, unless I'm misled. But I'm pretty sure they were doing some pretty modern millennial type humor, social media stuff.
I've seen a few of those.
But
That backfired.
It doesn't look like, you guys knew that you might be invaded. So then the invasion comes, and now you're looking for guns. Now you're looking for armor. Now you're looking for night vision. Now you're looking for bullets.
And I mean, getting this stuff from other countries when there's not a war going on takes a while. So
yeah, I mean, just
this is a fast
ITAR
process.
permitting takes at least 6 weeks.
Yeah, so they know prior that this is not a quick thing. So I don't know why they're acting surprised now. Like, come on, you're aware of this.
And so the lesson to be learned here, and when we started Tactical SH.T in 2013, because we saw writing on the wall, and we believed, and we still believe, that we need to arm as many Americans as possible with knowledge. Whoop, is that my thingy go off? We need to arm them with knowledge, weaponry, gear, so that if something bad happens, an invasion, whatever, that they are prepared for it now, because it might happen long after we're gone. But at least we've done our due diligence to get that equipment into their hands, so that what you see happening in Ukraine never is possible of happening here. Basically, amplifying and magnifying the every blade of grass strategy.
Because it's been a good deterrent. I mean, the fact that they know civilians here have, in some cases, machine guns, multiple firearms, body armor, all that, kind of a good case.
Yeah. We'll be back right after this with the final segment, and we'll get Krystal's opinion on seed oil a little bit more. Let's talk about corn syrup as you two argue about this. So she's looking at a Red Bull can. We're back, by the way.
Worse.
I know.
We might as well. Some of the best stuff happens on the bricks, So what is your opinion of corn syrup? Like, I have been adamantly against, corn syrup, high fructose corn syrup, since my 20s. Like,
Really?
I've been
You're
trying
ahead of the game.
not.
Good for you.
I went probably a decade without drinking any soda. Now I allow myself one per day maximum, and I probably only do that 3 days a week, and usually it's a Sprite.
Good for you.
But I read labels, and if I see high fructose corn syrup, I don't care how good that honey bun looks. I'm not eating it.
Those are so gross.
Yeah, no doubt. I've got young boys that live in my house, so my house is full of little Debbies and honey buns and cereal and pizzas and...
Just all of that is a step above cereal. When you read the history of cereal, you will never want cereal in your house again.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'm going to ruin cereal for you. Are you ready?
Here we go.
Can I have something sacred here?
Nothing sacred.
The reason we have Krystal on the show is because this show's about self-defense, whether it's defending your community, your nation, or yourself. And to do all of that, any of that, you need a healthy mind and a healthy body. And most Americans don't have that. I just flew from Orlando here yesterday, and the amount of diabetes that I was surrounded by in the airplane and at the airport, the FUPAs were everywhere. And I was disgusted. But we want you to learn how to, little things that you can do to have better health so that you can be the weapon. So now, ruin cereal for us.
Okay, if you look into the history of, I forget his first name.
Is cereal racist?
No.
Okay.
Actually, no. I forget his first name, Mr. Kellogg.
Okay.
So he created cereal because he wanted a way to fill people up while simultaneously infertilizing them. That's not the right word.
Infertilizing them?
What
Does
do
that
you,
mean making them infertile?
Yes. What's that? What's the word?
What?
Making people infertile.
Yeah, I think you're good. I just think
Sterilizing.
Yeah,
Is that right?
sterilizing. So sterilizing is making people infertile, but
infertilizing sounds like a reverse action.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's pretty
How?
based on. Okay, so all of the I'm gonna ruin a bunch of things for you. So like if you look on the ingredient label to bread, for example, it says like enriched wheat flour,
Yeah.
and then it has the list of like.
That's basically gluten, right?
Well, yes, but there's also, so the enriched part is the worrisome part because that's where they add all of these metals like iron and, what's another one?
Diamond, I don't know. It's not really metal.
Folate instead of folic acid. There's a whole bunch of things that they add so they can make the ingredient list, not the ingredient list, the nutrition facts on the label look like it provides actual nutrition, but almost none of it is bioavailable for your body. So
Right.
you're just,
It just
like
comes out in your poop.
overdosing on iron. Well, no, because heavy metals stay in your brain and in your fat.
That explains a lot. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So ruin cereal. Kellogg decides to infertilize all of us. And how does he do that?
By making all of these enriched wheat flour ingredients have all of these heavy metals, which in small amounts your body will do exactly what it's supposed to do, which is, filter them out. But when you overdose it, so
am I going to become infertile from having too many Fruit Loops, or am I going to have like 3-headed children?
No, you're just not going to be able to produce sperm.
Oh.
Or they're
You
going to
heard
be
it. All you young guys out there that don't want to wear protection, all you got to do is eat copious amounts of cereal, and
Captain
you're good.
Crunch twice
and
a day.
you'll also develop
Crystal
the
Powers has spoken.
body of a woman and the emotions of a woman, and you will be referred to as beta.
I think that's already been happening.
So you're telling me that soy boys are created by cereal, not soy?
I mean, it's like a mass attack on everything. Look at the
So
food guide pyramid.
So transvestites come from people that actually had cereal in soy milk.
I think you're making a joke, but I think a lot of people in this country are not thinking clearly. You're laughing, but I'm so serious about this. I think a lot of people in this country have not even mentally developed or physically developed to the point of where they should be, and their hormones are off because of all the crap in all of the food.
I'm just thinking back to the meme ad you see, my son took one marijuana toke and now he's in prison.
My son had Fruit Loops with soy milk and now he's Susie.
That's so sad. Have you seen? Okay, there's a page I follow called Libs of TikTok.
Libs of TikTok.
You should look it up. It's on Instagram. All it is videos of I assume libs who are going through
The transformation.
mental crises
Oh, yeah.
in front of the whole world about their gender, about their hormones, about their pronouns.
Yeah, the pronouns are a big deal. Although the one funniest piece of Ukrainian propaganda, I'm going to bring this all the way back. The funniest Ukrainian propaganda I've seen lately is a sign held up by a Ukrainian that says Russian soldier pronouns was and were.
That is pretty good. I saw that one. That was pretty good. I'm going to touch on that too. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I get what's going on, but I was a little infuriated at the State of the Union to see
We haven't even talked about that yet.
almost no one wearing an American flag pen, but everybody sure was wearing Ukrainian pens and Ukrainian flags.
I did not notice that.
Did you notice? I actually got to watch.
I was infuriated and had to turn it off.
I got to watch it with two young Republicans that are very well connected. They had actually just come back from CPAC. It was conservative Grace and Three Gun Beth. She actually had, give you an idea who Three Gun Beth is, and I'm giving you Instagram names. She managed social media for Donald Trump Jr.
Oh, okay.
All right. Conservative Grace also worked on campaigns like that and still does. But I got to watch it with them, so it was very entertaining because they had their Twitters going, and some of this stuff was super funny. But I was mortified by the propaganda in that. The whole thing was rhetoric. Yeah. It was absolutely. I give Biden an A for being able to pull it off with a straight face. Because you're just straight lying. Everything's a lie. Every president lies, but it was just nothing but lies.
Yeah.
There was some funny moments, but there was some scary moments. When he said. And he was very emotional. We're going to announce a special prosecutor to go after COVID relief fraud. I read between the lines there and thought, aha, you give free money away and then you're going to come back later and put people in prison because they took it.
Yeah.
And target small business. Now, if it's one thing if they target the guys that went out and bought Lamborghinis with it and absolutely misused the money.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But, if they target small businesses, with some sort of, IRS style, bureaucracy, I'm really scared for them. Really. But that was one takeaway I had from the thing, other than we're all screwed.
Yeah, pretty much. There is that.
The other thing.
Go ahead.
And this was the question I was trying to get to. Did you, when you're watching it, it's usually the Republicans on this side of the room, the Democrats on this side of the room, whoever's the president, everybody stands up, the other guys don't, it's back and forth. In this case, it looked like there was no Republicans there. Whenever they showed the wide angle camera stuff, there was six, it seemed like they were doing social distancing because there was tremendous space between each person.
Yeah.
And even though the mask mandate was over. And it seemed to me like everybody in the room was always standing up. Now, that could have been done with camera angles, not showing the Republican response. But to me, it just sure seemed like they weren't there. Or there weren't, a lot of them had not even showed up.
And at one point, I thought Mitch McConnell had died. He sat there somebody needs to check on him. Not that I'd remotely be disappointed if that traitor passed away, but
Is he the one who stood up and started clapping and then realized, oh not my
don't
turn,
even
and
get
then
me
sat
started.
down?
No, that was Chuck Schumer.
Oh, okay.
Literally one of the biggest scumbags on the planet.
Yeah, I saw the highlights.
Yeah.
My favorites were the while Biden was talking, watching Kamala and watching Pelosi. They're just like, when Kamala, you could see like the amazing acting skills on her part of like not reacting when he misspoke and said Iranian, was that right?
Yeah, well, you could
Instead
see
of
her mouth
Ukrainian. Right.
Yeah.
And then I'm pretty sure Pelosi was just hammered drunk the whole time.
Did you see?
Okay, what was she on? No, that's like a legit.
The thing she was doing with her knuckles.
That was creeping me out.
The best meme I saw about that is this is what a fly does when it lands
Yes.
on your food.
I can't unsee that. What was she doing?
She was on something.
I think she's always on something.
They probably all were. In a tongue-in-cheek bit of humor from the conservative Twittersphere, some of the humor that the young kids were showing me was that that there were some tweets out there about how Madison Cawthorn never stood up for anything because he's in a wheelchair. At least the Republicans have a sense of humor.
Who was it who, when he was talking about knowing a thing or two about having a service member in the family with a flag draped coffin, and somebody stood up and shouted about?
That was Lauren
woman.
Boebert.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's getting slammed for that.
Oh yeah, of course she is. Of
Like,
course she is.
How is that even possible to slam her for that? She's right.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's really scary that between her and Marjorie Taylor Greene, they're seemingly the only conservative women in Congress.
Yeah.
That's pretty nuts.
Also seem to be the only ones who actually will stand up and say anything.
Yeah.
Like, the rest of them might as well be liberals at this point, because they're pretty much the same thing with just an R next to their name instead of a D.
Yeah. Sad.
Yeah, we're screwed.
Yeah. But so, what is there anything else that before we move on from the address that you thought was important to touch on?
Well, the only thing that I thought was hilarious and also sad was Biden's call for unity. Like,
yeah, that's what they actually said about the woman that yelled about the 13 soldiers that he draped the flag on a casket, that she was interrupting his speech on unity. Yeah,
okay.
That's what
was that a break from decorum, or was that the context that people had a problem with?
That was the spin that the White House was trying to put on it to spin the context, even though the speech he was making at that moment had nothing to do with the unity part.
Yeah.
It was about veterans. The one good thing that came out of it, though, is they are actually doing something about burn pits, thanks to the CEO over at Grunt Style, who actually worked with Nancy Pelosi, because sometimes you have to swallow everything to get something done, but actually worked with Nancy Pelosi to put an end to burn pits and having soldiers do that, where they're going to end up with cancer and
a little too late for me now.
Damage. Anyway, we've run out of time. We didn't even get to talk about the documents that were released, the big pharma showing the 8 pages of bad things that happen to you when you get a vaccine. So I guess we'll have to talk about that next week.
No,
Probably be
this
its own
vaccine
show.
Yeah, this vaccine.
Specifically.
Yeah.
Not the other ones.
Not the other ones. Which pharma was it? It was
Merck, Pfizer.
Pfizer. Yeah. So anyway, we'll send out a text alert with a link to the document. How about that? Text TACTICAL to 59769. So send the text message, the word TACTICAL to 59769, and we'll send you a link with the actual document. Start reading on page 30.
So you can share with your family all the things that you've been saying for the past couple
Don't
years.
share it to the ones that got the vaccine, though, because you're going to scare them to death. We're out of here.
Literally.